Coming up, Indiana Jones Adventure is slated for a big renovation. Anaheim Ducks Day is going to return this January. Plus, Tom's got all the hot candy cane gossip. And then eventually, we are going to review the Hyatt House in Anaheim. So we have all that and more coming up from the Bob Varley studio in Orlando, Florida, and one point of location in California. This is the Disneyland edition of the Diz Unplugged. This is episode 790 of the Diz Unplugged Disneyland edition.
The Diz Unplugged is brought to you by DreamsUnlimitedTravel.com, experts at helping you plan the perfect vacation. Visit them on the web at www.DreamsUnlimitedTravel.com. And also by Disboards.com. Join over 1 million Disney fans discussing their Disney vacation, the latest news, rumors, and so much more. Visit Disboards.com and join the discussion today.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Diz Unplugged Disneyland edition. I am your growly host, Craig Williams. Listen to that growl. It's coming through loud and clear.
I think gravelly?
Growly?
Yeah.
Well, one of the two. So, I mean, I know my voice is also cracking here and there, so I guess I'll give it gravelly.
Crackly, crowly, growly.
Yeah, one of those. I mean, you could have always cut to yourself, too, when you're talking. So
no.
It's not, okay,
I wanted you to introduce me. It was a surprise.
Oh, okay, that's right. I forgot what show we're on. Hey, everyone, I'm your host, Gravelly Craig Williams, and today I'm joined alongside by my co-host who's on the controls, Mr. Rhino.
Hello.
And then from California, you might be asking which one of the California people
it's too late.
it is.
Too late.
Well, if you have eyes, then you already know it's Tom Bell. And if you have ears, you now also know it's Tom Bell. So,
and if you have both, well, you're a lucky person.
Yeah, you've already got it all. So we're all set. Hey, Tom, thanks for being here today.
Yeah.
So we're actually recording this one a little bit earlier because I will not be in town for our normally recording date. So if like 19 things happen between now and then, I apologize. We will get to that the following week in news and such. Actually, we won't because we will be off the following week, I believe, for that Thanksgiving week at that point? Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So never mind. It'll be a while before you hear us talk about whatever news is coming up. But we've got a great episode for you here. We're going to talk about the Hyatt House finally, which I'm already going to go ahead and say it's going to be a very positive review. I have not stopped thinking about this hotel since we left it. So very much looking forward to staying there again one day. But we'll give you all the details on that in just a little bit. But we are going to talk about a couple news stories before we get there, just because it was one of those weeks where between when we recorded the show and when we released the show, there was already like 3 new announcements. So lucky for us, we can actually dive in here. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the first one. And that is that you heard from the top of the show here is that Disneyland is also apparently going to give Indiana Jones Adventure a refurbishment. So might be saying, why am I saying also? Because if you listen to last week's show, you heard us talk about how Snow White's Scary Adventures was actually going to get a renovation refurb. And now it looks like Indiana Jones Adventure is also going to get the same. So, I mean, different styles, of course, 2 different rides, but also a renovation. And this was unveiled once again. I feel like he was all about last week's show and back right in it again. DL Things on Twitter, Matthew Gatola, has uncovered the original permits, and then the Orange County Register apparently confirmed that sometime next year, Disneyland will be performing a major overhaul of the Indiana Jones Adventure. Major. That is a scary,
big word
scary
there. Yeah.
word. But,
I think a lot of it might just be repair work. I don't know how much of it's going to be upgrades or enhancements. They're talking about some work on the bridge, and some rock work. So I don't know how much of it is actually going to be like visible changes that are enhancements to the ride.
Yeah, well, and I mean, you put on the news story a little bit further down below.
Sorry.
It's going to get the renovation at some time next year, but in March it's celebrating its 25th anniversary.
Right.
So it needs to be open for that, at least in my opinion. I guess Disney doesn't have to have it open for it, but I think an attraction that's as popular as it is, it has to be open for that anniversary.
Right.
So it's then comes down to, is this going to actually be a pretty quick renovation right after the winter busy time with Christmas and try to get it all done before March 3rd? Or do you wait until after the anniversary and take it down for an extensive time? But either way, it's not... I'm sad anytime Indiana Jones Adventure isn't open, which is a lot of times throughout the day because the thing breaks down like crazy, but...
I think they're probably just trying to make it more relevant. Maybe they'll add some like Shia LaBeouf in it and have some of the crystal aliens.
Yeah.
Maybe, I think just to really like punch it up.
Yeah, that could very well be. I don't know if it necessarily needs that kind of a punch up, but someone out there would appreciate it.
No, but I feel like it does go down so frequent. Like I feel like at least once a day, every day, this attraction does go down at some point. So I do feel like it probably is in need of some TLC.
Oh, yeah. It definitely needs a little bit of loving.
Yeah.
But you don't want anything too extreme to change. I mean, if they're going to give it a lot of loving, it would be great to see like the first room that you go into where, back in the day, like I think we talk about it in an upcoming video that we have. It's a ride review. But back when, your path chooses direction, the entire room actually moved versus... or the sliding doors actually moved versus now just being projections. Like, it would be awesome if part of these renovations could be bringing something like that back to life.
Or like the dark tunnel that you're in with the car stalls. Like, there was something in there at some point or something or other.
The rats.
Well, and then they added the projection rats. But
rats and
I want more.
And flat people on the wall who shoot darts at you. Scary stuff.
Those are in the other hallways. I'm talking about, there's like that one hallway where you're like, something used to happen here, and there's literally nothing.
Well, I mean, I don't remember it from when I wrote it in 1999, but that would be on Tom's memory. Tom, was there anything in that blank page before?
Not that I remember.
Was it all just always?
I think it's always been just.
Oh, all right. Well, fix the rats then or something.
make the rats real. We want animatronic rats.
Real rats.
Yes. Yeah. That's what I want.
Everyone leaves with a rat.
Get them from Carthay.
Yeah.
Is this true? A rat's in Carthay?
No, but we also probably should not be starting the rumor that Carthay is going down.
You guys have said it twice to me. That's why I didn't know the joke, so it's fine. I was like, I like Carthay.
No, it was just the fact that you were making such a big deal about Carthay being closed for a month that I feel like I had to say something that would justify its closing for a month. So why not just make an outrageous false claim like rats?
You were teasing me.
Oh, rats. Rats I was. But that is, we'll keep you updated on Indiana Jones Adventure when we hear that it's going to go down, and we'll talk about it again at that point. But we're going to move on to our next news story, and that is that Anaheim Ducks Day will return to DCA on January 8th. This was a bummer. I wanted to be there for Anaheim Ducks Day.
What happens?
The Ducks. Well, I don't want to say it's anything like worth planning a trip around, but it is a nice celebration of the hockey team. So more information about the event will be released later, but it will probably include special hockey themed activities, photo ops, and other memorable experiences.
I want to meet the duck. I don't know the mascot's name, but I do want to meet the duck.
And maybe you could, maybe you couldn't. I'm not sure.
Maybe
I can't remember now. It feels like it's been so long since Anaheim Ducks Day happened that I don't remember what actually happened. I think some of the players showed up at least and hung out and like took photos and stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, that's anytime you can get back out into your community. If you're a sports organization, is always a positive thing. So you will have to be on the look for that if you're going to be there in early January. You might be there for Anaheim Ducks Day. Then maybe you won't care and means nothing to you, but it is an option. So that's going to take us into our final little news story here. And I told you there's going to be some candy cane gas. Well, Tom's got that candy cane gas, even though I think I called him Ton in the opening when I tried to say it. But Ton Bell.
Ton.
Ton Bell Give us the goss on that candy cane talk.
All right, so we have the dates for the 2019 candy cane, the handmade candy cane, hand-pulled candy canes that the Disneyland Resort makes. A few years ago, they started making them both at Disneyland and California Adventure, so there's twice as many dates to get those. Looks like 22 dates this time around, starting, I don't know, I'm not going to list all of the dates. They are up on the site. Starting November 29th and going through Christmas, alternating between the two parks, and I think it skips like Sundays or something like that. But you have to be in line early, get a wristband, and you can purchase one candy cane with that wristband. So,
but they're big candy canes, so
they're like 18-inch candy canes, yeah.
Yeah, they're massive. It's not even just the length, and I know Rhino's already about to start laughing here at this, so keep your mind out of the gutter. But
it's Christmas, you animal.
Yeah, it is. It is Christmas, you animal. But I mean, these things they're decently thick too, and it's amazing how, like, unless they really go stale, like the outside actually maintains this kind of softness for it, and there's just a little crunch to it as well too. The candy canes are amazing. Granted, I've only been able to get mine by being on an Adventures by Disney vacation over December, where
someday I'll get one.
They just take care of that for you and say, you don't get to wait in line. We'll just give it to you. And that was a cool little perk for it. But I dream of the next day that I do get another Disneyland candy cane. They're so good. So
I want one so bad.
You will love it.
So bad.
You will love it. Was that it, Tom?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
That's it.
Wunderbar. Good.
Get in line now.
Yeah, go get in line. So
Luella's already there.
Besides that, I guess the last thing we have to talk about in the news is that apparently rats are at Carthay Circle.
You said not to say that.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Sorry. So is it too early for April Fools?
Yes.
Maybe.
In December, I don't even know what month it is.
In November?
In November? We still got like 17 days left of this month.
It's all fine. It's all good. So with that, I know that was just a little bit of short news here, but we are going to jump actually into our main discussion point today, which we actually thought was going to be the only topic we were talking about on this show. So it's exciting. It's fun for you. You got a little bit of extra stuff. And speaking of extra stuff, before we get into the Hyatt House, forgot to mention at the top of the show, I mean, I completely forgot to do housekeeping as a whole. I don't think we had any, though, but besides to mention what I'm going to mention too now is for extra supplemental content besides just this quality show that you're getting this week, you're also going to get another handful of reviews that Tom and Morgan did. And Tom, what do you have coming out this week?
Let's see. Merry Mashups and Winter Sliderland.
And then
the
Mint Julep
beignets
Bar.
at Mint Julep Bar.
Yes.
I want that mint julep so bad. So bad.
Who knows? Maybe Santa will bring you one. Oh, maybe
Not now. I just screwed up on the naughty list. It's
maybe
fine.
Santa will bring you one, though. I could, and by Santa again, we mean Morgan. Really would be.
I think she thought it was a joke about pouring it into the carafe or a canister of some sorts. But I want to be like, Morgan, here's the 20. Get me 2 mint juleps. Keep the change, sweetheart, and bring me the mint julep.
I mean, we just saw that right before she leaves to move away, she is going to be in Disneyland. So I can only assume that that's only to get us cranberry juleps.
Yeah.
Should I literally be like, I'll ship you the double-walled thing. You just ask for no ice, dump 2 inside of this thing, and you don't even have to do anything. You just keep it with you, and then we'll pour it over ice when you get her to celebrate. And then we realize that everything's separated, and it was really...
I mean, here's the thing, though. She's a millennial. Chances are she has a double insulated wall container already.
Disney-themed.
Yeah. Well, no, not necessarily Disney themed, but I mean, you want to
I
definitely...
have 2 that are Disney-themed.
You do, but it's, you want to pay the good money and get yourself a nice hydro flask, something name brand on point. So that's just my opinion on that. But Anyways, you'll have those videos going out on youtube.com/disunplugged. And then, of course, you'll be able to, if you're listening to this, you'll be able to get those in the feed too. Always, we have to say we apologize for the audio quality on those in the field like that. But it's a nice way to bring those reviews straight from where they happened into your ears. So I think it's worth the little bit of a degradation in quality there. But speaking of quality.
One minor correction, Craig, on one of the videos and probably last week's show. For the tots, the Reuben tots, I kept saying pastrami. It's actually corned beef. So I totally got that wrong.
Yeah, anyway. You offended the entire Irish population that we have watching our videos.
Yeah,
so
I'm one of those people offended.
Okay.
Outraged.
Well,
still delicious though.
Still delicious. And speaking of outrage, let's talk about our outrageous experience staying at the Hyatt House at the Anaheim Resort/Convention Center. So just to put this into proximity purposes before we get going too far in here, you might remember the last hotel review that we brought to you was from our stay at the Spring Hill Suites Anaheim Resort area/Convention Center. And we kept mentioning how it was on top of a CVS, and we said that it was on Harbor Boulevard if you were going south, and at the corner of Catella, very close to the Hilton Anaheim and the Convention Center and all that. Well, to put into perspective where the Hyatt House is right away, it is literally across the street. Not going towards Disneyland, but if you're looking straight up Harbor Boulevard, not Harvard Boulevard, that would be too fancy. But if you're looking straight up Harbor Boulevard, then you would see Spring Hill Suites on your left, and you would have the Hyatt House at Anaheim Resort/Convention Center on your right. So
depends on which way you're looking.
I said looking straight up Harbor Boulevard.
Okay.
I think it makes sense. Well, it doesn't matter because I put in a map anyway, so everyone knows where it is. It was more for the listeners out there to hear. Okay. So it's on the corner of Harbor and Catella. So just if you're trying to pull into the hotel, you need to be going east on Catella, or you need to be going north on Harbor. That's the two ways that you would be able to pop into the hotel there. So Hyatt House, I mean, clearly it's a Hyatt hotel of sorts. But we were talking about this just before we started recording here, though, that this is actually, I guess it's considered kind of like an extended stay hotel from what the website says as well as what Tom said. So I don't think I really realized that right away when we decided to stay there and stuff. Really, we only decided to stay there because of its convenience to where we were. We were starting off at the Spring Hill Suites and we want to do two different hotels so we get two different reviews. Well, why not get the hotel that's right across the street? So that way we don't look too crazy hauling our luggage as far as we can, going a mile down the road. We didn't want to look like crazy people or anything, but so that's why we chose it. But yeah, because it is an extended stay, you'll find a whole lot of suites there. And that's actually what we ended up staying in. I just have to say right off the start of this, though, Tom stayed in a different suite than Rhino and I. And
yes, sorry, I was shocked. Yeah,
you were shocked. But Tom stayed in a specialty family suite with bunk beds and a king bed, whereas Rhino and I stayed in an expanded 1-bedroom suite that contained 2 queen beds, then a sofa bed and a little sitting area, plus a full-size kitchen in there as well too. So but I wanted to say that right off the start. We forgot to completely photograph Tom's room in all of this. So we don't have photos to show of it. Tom will do his best descriptive qualities from it, but the photos that we will be showing you are from the suite that Rhino and I were in. So just keep that in mind as we're going forward with it. But if suites aren't your thing, that is apparently not a problem at this hotel, because apparently they also have normal rooms too, which they call den guest rooms, which I think sounds...
Den guest rooms? I'm looking at the photos of ours right now, but...
Yeah, no, den guest rooms, which those would be essentially just standard rooms like you would find at any other hotel. And The thing is, when I booked Hyatt House, those weren't even an option for me. Only the suites were an option. And that was, I went based on what price was. So the lowest price room I could get at the Hyatt House for us was that expanded suite. And then when I booked Tom's a week or two later, the only one I could get that was actually ended up even being cheaper than ours was the family suite with the bunk beds. So yeah, you never know. You never know how it's going to go there. But so that is a variety of the options that they have there. And we'll talk about everything else as we go. But we already covered it pretty in depth when we talked about the Spring Hill Suites. But how do we feel about the proximity of the Hyatt House?
Oh, I think it was great. I think it was I think we said, like you said, at Spring Hill Suites, I feel like you literally just have to do basically one more crosswalk, to get to the other side of the road. But I think it's a really easy walk.
Yeah, it's like you just said, you only add in one extra crosswalk.
Yeah.
And staying on the Hyatt House side because you have to get over to the side that Disneyland's on. So you have one extra crosswalk, but besides that, it's the exact same proximity. So whether you're using it for the convention center or Disneyland, I think it's actually ideal. There are still better hotels that are closer, not better hotels that are closer. There's closer hotels if you would prefer proximity. But I think for the quality of this hotel, for where it's located, it is, if the price range is like what we paid for it, it is an absolute steal.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
But Tom, what do you any extra on the proximity?
Yeah, and it's a little closer to Garden Walk.
Yeah, yep.
I'm sure we'll talk about this later, but I think the least dining options are better at Hyatt House, the Starbucks and the pizza place.
1,000%. Yeah, they have it's a Blaze Pizza, and then, like you just said, the Starbucks versus across the street at Spring Hill Suites, it was just the Coffee Bean.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. Much better. I didn't take advantage of the Blaze Pizza there, but I did 100,000% take advantage of Starbucks multiple times.
We did, because we did the early crosswalk. We did the crosswalk earlier in our journey. Excuse me. We did stop for a pizza press one night on the way.
Yeah, they're both open the same time, basically until like 1 hour after Disneyland closes. So like when we were there, they were both open till 1 a.m. So one night we were like, oh, we know there's a pizza press at the awful Anaheim hotel that we had to stay at the one time. So we'll just stop there, completely forgetting that we had a Blaze Pizza.
So we walk back with the pizza just to walk up to the sign and be like, oh.
Still wide open, still making pizzas. Yeah. We could have had hot pizza right up in our room in a minute versus 10 minutes from our walk there. So funny. That was really dumb of us. But hey.
It was good.
Yeah, good options to have there. So agree with that. So let's actually move into the interior of the hotel. And what struck me so in such an impressive way about the Hyatt House is that when you finally walk into the actual lobby, this thing is nice and wide open. It's very open concept, which is pleasing. Not that there was anything wrong. I know we're going to keep repeating like Spring Hill Suites, but I feel like those are the two similar hotels right there beside each other that you can easily compare the two. That felt a little bit more closed in, not as expansive. This was,
and it was like they
massive.
did that to themselves on purpose too over there.
Yeah,
because they basically had the one area you could have breakfast, and then that was like sealed off. Whereas this hotel also had a big dining area, but it wasn't sealed off because it was like the next area over. So it was like it when it wasn't in use, you didn't see it as being this big closed off area. It was like kind of separated almost.
Well, and there was only a little bit time during the day that it wasn't really in use because
you could order food there during the day, right?
It was an actual restaurant. So it was used for the dining area and all the tables and extra seating. You had that for the not continental breakfast, the free breakfast. Mm-hmm. It's
hot breakfast.
A hot breakfast that's included, which I took advantage of, just like the last hotel. We'll get there in a little bit, but it was just they were utilizing their space. There was not a time where we didn't go in where there weren't people just enjoying not just the lobby, but also sitting down where the restaurant side was, because there was like a big giant table with lots of seats around it. And
I did appreciate too. There's a bar in this lobby, and it was like I mean there might not have been somebody there all day or anything like that, but when you wanted to come back and change, maybe because the temperature was dropping or you just needed a break for a second, there was a happy hour at the bar, so we went and had a drink at the bar, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, the bartender was definitely there in the morning because I saw some people buying mimosas.
Oh, okay.
And such.
Cool.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's all the time or just based on if they feel like they need it, but I saw people buying mimosas.
Oh, yeah, you're
in the
right. I did
morning.
see that, yeah.
And then we know that at least the happy hour was 4 to 6, 4 to 7. 3 to 6?
No, it was till 6, I think. I think it was 4 to 6. I think it was 2 hours.
Yeah, but a great happy hour at the bar. I mean, if you're a beer lover, it was
selection.
A good selection of beers, some local, then standard, and I want to say it was around like $4 for a beer.
Yeah, I
during
think so.
happy hour.
Yeah.
So, we took advantage of it once or twice. I'm not going to say we sat there all the time, but we took advantage of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a good place. But, when you walk in, I mean, the lobby, your check-in's just right ahead of you. So, but I thought it was a really clean lobby, really inviting. It instantly, when you walked in with the color palette, the kind of the blues of Hyatt mixed with the more neutral colors, it was appealing to me. I felt more at home there than a lot of other hotels.
Yeah, I agree. It was definitely a much more comfortable lobby. Like if I had taken a seat there and would have sat for a few minutes, I wouldn't feel like the people at the front desk were just staring at me, which is what I felt like at the other one.
Yeah.
So it was definitely more of like, hey, you can come hang out in the lobby if you don't want to go all the way back up to your room, or you're down here while the rest of your party's getting ready or something like that.
Yeah. And speaking of the lobby, and we already mentioned we used the bar services there, which was great service at the bar. When the bartender was around, it was always great. But, we were patient. We were friendly, so it was fine. When we checked in, Tom, his room wasn't ready until like close to 4:00 when it needs to be ready. But it was a pretty straightforward check-in process. Everyone was friendly. Everyone was nice.
It did seem like, though, that nobody's room was ready early because I think it was a Saturday, 4:00. That lobby was packed full of people.
Yeah, and we checked in on Sunday, and this is where I do have to ding them just slightly, is that, I want to say we moved our stuff. We went back to the Spring Hill Suites to grab our bags and then moved them across the street to Hyatt House. And this was like 3:30, and we went up to them and checked in, and they're like, "Oh, your room's not ready yet. Sorry about that. It'll be soon, but we can hold your luggage and stuff while you're waiting." So we did that, and then I think we went and ran an errand or something else, and just kind of like treated it like that. But then the irritating part is we came back, I want to say at like 4:15, 4:20, way past check-in time at that point, 15, 20 minutes, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, your room's not ready. We still don't quite know when it's actually going to be ready." And I had to ask why, not in a rude way or anything, just find it out. And they're like, "Oh, well, one of our laundry machines died, so we're not able to do the laundry to turn around these rooms as quickly." But I want to say it was closer to about like 4:40 when it finally ended up being ready. But they did try to make up for it. They gave us it was like, I want to say $10 a day at the bar.
Yeah, but we didn't use it.
Yeah, we didn't. We were paying out of pocket for that stuff. So
yeah, I didn't even remember that until you just said that. But also, it was one of those where we were like, I don't think the person's going to know what we're doing.
Yeah, it was very similar to our nervousness when we stayed at Anaheim Hotel. Is that they also gave us
that nobody knew.
Yeah, time. They gave us a certain amount of money each day that we could use at their bar and restaurant. We were too afraid to use it because they didn't give us pieces of paper or anything that said, like,
they just said it would be on the credit. Yeah.
Yeah. And we weren't going to take a chance that we go to check out and they're like, okay, an extra $300. And leave it at that. So we didn't take advantage of it, but they did try to work around with us, and so I'll at least give them a little bit of credit on that. But it was annoying that our rooms weren't ready at check-in time, because like at that point in time, because we had to switch rooms, like, you know, if it would have been even later, we paid all that money for a room to be ready at 4, and then it's not. I don't know why I always
well, my thing is, if it's guaranteed check-in by 4, once you hit 4 o'clock, you do the amount of money it costs for your entire stay. You divide it up by the number of hours and then by the number of minutes, and every minute that it's not ready after that, they should be refunding you that amount of money.
Yep.
Because you're guaranteed. So why? I hate that. It was like the Anaheim Hotel was the same thing. The day with the check-in, they should have given us more than $10. They should have basically given us a night for free at that point, but whatever.
I get very irritated about it. I know it's my thing. Not everyone cares as much, but it's
hard when we had woken up at, if this had been day 1 when we had gotten there, that would have meant that we had woken up at like 3 a.m. our time, and this would have been now 7 p.m. our time, and our room would have been ready. So I think about it on a point from somebody who could have been traveling far away and stuff. So.
That's a good point. But so let's talk about the rooms, unless anyone has anything else to say about the lobby and that. No. Okay. No. So Tom, I want to have you start talking about your room there. You, like I said before, let me pull it back up again so I get the name right. You had the specialty family suite with bunk beds and a king bed, and this was a 395 square foot suite, featuring 2 sleeping areas with bunk beds and a sofa bed separated by French doors from the king bedroom area. And then you also had what I would describe as a kitchenette of sorts. It was...
the coffee maker and microwave, maybe?
You had a refrigerator, microwave, and
it wasn't,
coffee maker.
Yeah, but it was like the same stuff you would see in a motel. I mean, it wasn't...
It was displayed
any
nicely.
Upgrades from a...
I felt like it was displayed nicely in the room, though. It was, even though we don't have the photo to go along with it. It was all positioned very well in the room.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a huge built-in that plus the desk area along one wall, and then the king bed on the right. Comfy beds. I really liked that they had those French doors to close off the other room. In what I kind of was weird in the other room, there was I'm trying to remember if there was a TV. I don't think there was a TV, but there was a dress. There was an extra dresser in the other room with the bunk beds.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to pack, set your kids up in there, there was extra storage space. There was also a weird couch in there, like a square couch, like a lounging couch. I don't know, but it didn't seem to be very useful. It was a comfortable room. I mean, I liked that. I don't know if you guys had this in your room. They had electric drapes or electric screens. So you could lower the screens at night or during the...
Yours had it. Ours did not. We had manual drapes on ours.
I had to do it myself.
Yeah, but we were excited. Yeah, because I remember when we checked you in and we went up to your room, we were messing around with them. But then when we got to ours, we did not, in fact, have those.
It's been so long since we stayed. Trying to remember what else. It was a nice room, and I really enjoyed the hotel. I think back when Spring Hill and Hyatt House opened, and they opened within a few months of each other, and I reviewed them both. I think at the time I liked Spring Hill better, but now looking at based on what you guys were talking about, I think Hyatt House is the better option.
I solely believe it is, and I just want to break down the cost of your room. You stayed, like you said, from a Saturday until then we departed on Wednesday. So you stayed in the room 4 nights. I don't Your rate kind of changed over the couple nights, so I don't have an exact. But after all the taxes and fees, which in Anaheim and California there are a lot, adds about $30-ish to your room every night. So that's a good thing to know. If you're going out there for the first time, you might see a good deal on a hotel, like $120 a night. It's actually going to end up being around $160 after all the fees. Yeah. After everything was said and done, Tom, with the fees on your king suite with a second room with the bunk beds in there, it was $200 a night. Exactly.
And that's including breakfast every day.
Exactly.
For whoever's staying with you. That's great. Yeah,
I feel like that, having seen the room and walked around and not having slept in it, but I still feel like for the amount of space you had in your room and I'm like, wow, that's a great deal.
And booking at the somewhat last minute, too.
Yeah.
I mean,
very last minute. It was within a week. So,
it kind of makes me sad that we haven't stayed here more often, to be honest with you. That's what this stay really, I felt by the end. I was like, man, we've been in the Hilton so long. So why did we never stay here before?
Yeah. Oh, I agree with that. So we'll move on to our room now. But just to put it into perspective, Tom had the king bed, still like kind of 2-ish rooms, because the king bed in one with the little kitchenette and big bathroom, then the kids' sleeping area with the bunk beds and stuff. That was $200. Ours averaged out over the 3 nights we stayed there. Our room averaged out to $203.
Oh, break the bank.
For $3 more, but I will say that for $3 more a night, while we didn't have the privacy of actual divided rooms like Tom did with the French doors. So if you're a family with, you're bringing the 2 kids, putting them in the bunk beds, you need that separation at the end of the night. You will get that from the room Tom stayed in. With our room, you will not get that at all. It was basically an L-shaped room where when we walked into our door, the full kitchen was there immediately. And I'm not messing around when I say that. We had an oven. We had a burner. We had microwave. We had a nice, huge mini fridge down into
plenty of dishes and cups and all that stuff. Coffee maker, all that stuff. There was even a little nook on the other side of the door, like a shoe area, like for your shoes. There was a platform for like backpacks and like hooks for jackets. I'm always a big fan of when rooms have hooks in it. I love to be able to hang up my sweatshirt or my jacket. Yeah, because it's a thing you just want to grab on the way out. I don't want to just throw it somewhere.
Oh yeah, no, it's our shoes were up off the floor.
I was worried that I'm going to leave my jacket or my hat on the rack if I put it there.
That's you got to triple check before you leave completely. But we took advantage of having that, and because we were able to get our shoes off the floor finally, which you don't really ever get in hotel rooms unless you put them away in luggage and stuff. You don't get to have like, oh, I have a floor with nothing on it. We had that for our shoes and where we were putting our bags and such. So it was nice there, and like keep going on about the kitchen. They even had like all the spatulas, the pots, the pans. Like it was anything you needed to cook a full meal in there. Which was awesome.
Yeah, what I really appreciated too was the island that was in there, because there was 2 chairs like on either side of the island. 2, right? Yeah.
Yep.
And the refrigerator.
Might have been 4.
No, there were only 2. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I have the photo right here.
Okay, sorry.
But the island had a bunch of it just closed out.
Oh no.
Had a bunch of
outlets.
Yeah, outlets. So you could use it as a workspace. It could be your dining space, but it was a comfortable amount of space. I felt like,
Yeah,
So
the one side had a bunch of outlets. The other side had it didn't have any outlets. So that was like you had to run your cords over from the side to side. But we had enough room to have both of our laptops on the island doing work, as well as then I think Kylie had like some makeup stuff to get ready on. Oh yeah, you're right.
It was a wheelie chair,
right, because the refrigerator sits back in on the island, so it's blocking where you would be able to sit.
Yeah.
So, but that's just when you walk in. You have all that space there, and then you move further back into the room, and that's where you hit your sitting area. And it's a nice big L-shaped couch. I mean, I'm not going to beat around
straight
the
up
bush.
call it a living room.
Yeah, it was a living room. The couch was not that comfortable. It was very good at holding our bags, but
I never got to sat on it because somebody's bags were on it the whole time.
I sat on it at least twice, and for extended periods of time, and it was not very comfortable, but it was still a nice place.
I believe
where
this
you
was
could
a
sit.
pullout as well, right?
It was, yes. Yeah, but the reason I was sitting there for the most part, is because the two lamps. The one thing I think that Spring Hill Suites got a little better is their outlets and charging points were a lot more spread out throughout the room. Here, like, we did not have the same amount.
I think
Rhino's power strip
yeah.
came in handy, but like for me, where to charge it, I had to charge in my stuff by connecting into the lamps. So I was spending time on the couch while I was charging and still looking at my phone and stuff. But.
Well, what's interesting too about this sitting area is so it's got the TV that is there and some cabinets, but the TV it had like a Blu-ray player.
It did.
And I was like,
yeah.
oh, that's cool. You know, I don't see this in hotels that often anymore.
Yeah, no, there was such a surprise because we met a friend earlier. Well, Rhino had already met him before, but we got to see a friend who, ironically enough, gave us a DVD set, and we were kind of joking at the last hotel. We're like, well, we don't have any way to even play this. And then we get over to the next hotel, and it's like, oh, well,
it was meant to be.
We could pop it in and play it. But speaking of the TV, this was my highlight in this room, and that's that. While you didn't have a formal door blocking the bedroom area from the living room and kitchen area, you had this giant center console, and the TV swiveled back and forth between the two. So all you had to do was turn it. If you're sitting in the living room, want to watch TV, just turn it that way.
A full 180.
Yeah.
You could do a full 180 to go to the beds, go to the kitchen, wherever.
But that wouldn't work out if you wanted to watch TV in the living room while someone was watching in the bedroom. But
sure can't do
then
that.
You're going to clash with noise anyway. So I don't think it needed. But it did give the bedroom a little bit of separation and privacy because of it. And the bedroom area was, I felt like this was the most contained part of the room. It was probably the most claustrophobic part, but it still wasn't that bad. I think you had it a little bit better down by your end since you finally slept by a window for the first time in your life of us sharing a room. Mm-hmm. And
yeah, it's because I like whatever's in the alcove, and this was the first time there was one in an alcove.
Yeah, so it was comfortable, and I agree with Tom's perception on the beds. I actually thought they were decently comfortable. I liked them a little bit better than the Spring Hill Suites, I think, but it still wasn't like. It's still not like going to the Grand Californian and staying on a big, fluffy, heavenly bed. It's a Hyatt bed for sure, but it more than comfortable enough. And
so I will say this about the bedroom area though. So there was a between the two between the two beds there is a nightstand that has two drawers in it, and then on the right side of what was your bed, there's a nightstand table, same design of a table with two drawers in it. But that's kind of all there was for any unpacking space.
Yeah,
because we did have a closet. And a bathroom, but it was like the closet had no shelves or anything, and there was not, other than like that alcove with like the jackets were for and the shoes, there wasn't really anywhere else to unpack a suitcase. So if you were here for like a week, you're probably, if you're more than two people, you're not really going to be able to unpack. I think even if you are two people, it might be like okay, well, I'll leave some stuff here, because there was like, if you're not able to unpack completely, you kind of need your luggage to stay near you. Otherwise, you have to keep putting it in and out of the closet. So that was my only ding on that.
Hence why we had the
couch situation.
We had the couch situation where our bags were on the couch to help keep everything kind of organized a little bit, but still very clustered in that. And then the bathroom, that was about the only thing I would ding this room on. The bathroom was nice and large. Like the toilet felt awkward sitting by itself.
It was weird because it was a big giant square room, and so when you walk in the bathroom on the right, you've got your sink, two sinks,
just one sink,
the mirror, and then your standard issue shower. Was it a bathtub though?
Yes, it was a bath shower.
Yeah, but then because the room's kind of so big, the toilet was just not even all the way against the back wall, I feel like, but it was against the wall on the left, but it was just kind of you're separated. You couldn't reach or touch anything. You'd just be like there. I don't know.
You just sat in the middle of a room.
Shame.
And, after coming from the Hyatt or from the Spring Hill Suites, where we had a large double vanity sink and such, like it was hard to step down onto this. It felt like all of our stuff was just cluttered on there.
Yeah.
And there was nowhere to put it. So.
No, and because there was no shelves within the unit or whatever. Because I have a lot of toiletries. I like to put them out and organize them.
But again, at $203 for this room, you could sleep up to 6 in it. I personally wouldn't, but if I would say if your friends, like if you're doing a 2 and 2 where your kids are still young enough that maybe they're okay sleeping in the same bed together and you don't need the bunk bed separation kind of thing, I think it's an awesome room. 100% worth every penny.
If I went with 3 people, I think I'd definitely get one of these. Would be totally worth it. 4, I'd be like, awesome. Yeah, any more than that, I'd be like, it's a lot to share that one bathroom. That's where I get when it's like that. But I think you could get 4 adults, like 2 friends and 2 friends, comfortably if you're all fairly organized people, I feel like.
Yeah. So then in terms of other facilities there, they did have a pool. It was on the same level as our floor. We were on the 3rd floor, right? Or 2nd?
Well, our room number was 233. I know this because I took a picture, so I wouldn't.
So we were on I think we were on the 2nd floor then, and it was a pool and a nice big pool deck. The pool was boring essentially. It was just a rectangular pool, so nothing to write home about, but plenty of enough seating and chairs everywhere, so couldn't complain. Did not have a view like the Spring Hill Suites pool did, so but I also don't use the pool, so I think it's perfect if you want to take a little dip or something, taking a break in the afternoon, but it's not the type of rooftop pool where you're like, I need to spend a lot of time here. Heck, it wasn't even on top of the roof, so can't call it that. But the gym was right next to it. It was a compact gym, but had a couple treadmills, elliptical, a little bit of weights, so enough that you could get a workout in there if you really wanted. And the laundry facility was there. So the only other thing I think we really have to talk about was the breakfast, unless I'm missing something else.
Am I remembering correctly? This is the hotel where you had to scan your room key to use the elevator?
Yes, it was both hotels that we stayed at. We needed to, but I want to say the Spring Hill. It was a little bit easier on the key card. This one was definitely you had to have your key card with you because I forgot mine once and had to get a new card because of it. But don't lose your key cards. You're gonna have a bad day. But the breakfast. Who took advantage of breakfast?
I did. Me. No, I did too. I ate with you one day.
I know. What'd you think of it?
I thought it was fine. Yeah. I thought it was. I thought it was again. It was kind of more or less like your standard breakfast offerings. You had your scrambled eggs. You had sort of the potato-based thing at some point. You had some cereals and the yogurts, and then they would have like a kind of a specialty item. I felt like in the back there, which I didn't know what it was the first day, and then later you told me it was like Bananas Foster's French toast or something.
It was, yeah,
yeah, which I thought was kind of cool that they had that. I mean, for me, it was nothing like, oh, this breakfast is extraordinary, but I will say, I feel like having the breakfast down there and there were a bunch of teas down there, coffee, all that sort of stuff. Having that like right there to get your day started, especially for people like us, where like if it wasn't there when we travel like this, Craig knows I'll go down to like the CVS or something like that and buy like a couple of yogurts. I'll have had granola bars and stuff I've packed and stuff. Like that's our breakfast. This is definitely a better way to get my day started, I feel like. So I feel like it was very spacious, and there was I couldn't even be like, oh, could you guys offer anything like this for the next time? I feel like there was plenty of offerings,
Tom, your thoughts?
Yeah, and there was a lot of big seating area. If I remember correctly, there were lots of juices, different
yeah,
flavors
there was
of juices.
4 juices, I believe.
Yeah, and then a couple options for milk. Do I remember that there was like almond milk?
Yes, I believe there was, and
Yeah.
then I mean they had like the milk pump set up so you could get skim, chocolate, like a variety of milks. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Which you don't always get in, complimentary breakfast.
Yes. Yeah.
No.
But see, where Rhino was kind of middle of the line on the breakfast, compared to the nightmare that was at Spring Hill Suites, this was incredible. So Spring Hill, if you don't remember us talking about it, I mean, go watch that review. But it was this one small little line, and what was out there, and that was basically it. If they ran out of food and didn't replace it, you were just kind of done. And then the waffle mess situation, it was not handled well. This was the complete opposite. The area where you got the food alone had two different sides to it that were pretty much mirror items on each side, but that just, it made it so there was no lines waiting for food on either side. And the food kept coming out so frequently. They replaced everything very quickly. Sorry, I'm
not gonna lie.
Nasally there.
I know I yawn into the microphone a lot, but the noise that you just made
was disgusting.
Was like an alien moving around its wet tentacle.
Yeah, I'm about hitting my ending point here, so it's a good thing we're almost at the end. But
it's giving me goosebumps right now.
I may not make it through the rest of this episode. I might just black out on my computer. But I like the eggs were done European style, so they were a little bit runny, and I love some runny scrambled eggs. Not only did they have like hash browns and home fries one day, they had freaking tater tots out there too. Which what kind of breakfast buffet has tater tots? This one. And then, like you said, you mentioned the French toast, the Bananas Foster's French toast. They had French toast sticks almost every day, and I know French toast sticks are so elementary school breakfast lunch, but I love them. So for me, you know, I looked at this breakfast as the amount that I ate each of the mornings that I ate there. It was like about the equivalent of $20 worth of food anywhere else. So I feel like once you add the breakfast in with the amount you're paying per night for the rooms times however many people are in there, I think the breakfast alone chips away. If you're a breakfast person,
I think that's the thing. Yeah, if you think you're going to eat anything or need anything like that, roll in that. Like I would even say, like I don't even think I ate a lot, but I definitely like with what I'm getting, I'm not going to get breakfast under like $15 somewhere at Disney. So that's why I'm like, okay, like, you know, or around that. But like, it's so I'm like, I had a tea every day and the eggs and whatever. And so I'm like, I would have paid $15 for this and known.
Yeah.
So
you're a small breakfast person.
Yeah.
I'm a big breakfast person. I need my big breakfast right after I wake up. So for me, it added a lot of extra value for it. And the only other thing too, we forgot to mention it. You mentioned going down to the convenience store. The convenience store below the Hyatt House is a Walgreens. So whereas the CVS is under the Spring Hill Suites. And then also directly out behind the hotel, if maybe the hotel breakfast isn't a thing that you would want, there's also an IHOP, like literally directly as soon as you walk out of the hotel too. So lots of dining. So ultimately, I'm going to go ahead and give my input on it and say that I think this hotel gets, like, for the off-site hotels around Disneyland Resort, this gets my highest recommendation if the price point is right. So I've been looking at kind of random dates and getting an idea. I've seen some pricing similar to ours where it was like about $170 for the room, so $200 something after tax. I've seen it around $250 in like late November, early December. During spring break, it's still popping in around $320. So, and I mean, if you're in the height of spring break, I think $300 for a suite is, if you have enough people in there, I think you're still getting a good value for what you can get out of this hotel. So I know we will stay here again. This was one of my favorite hotels we've ever stayed at.
I'm like doing the math in my head where I'm like, okay, I know I could go out with 3 people, and if you split the cost every night, and like, you know, factoring in that also takes a meal off of your plate, that, you know, if you're trying to save money while you're out there, and like, you know, I'm just thinking like, that this hotel would be like, I would feel like I'm in a luxurious place for not a lot of money. Luxurious is probably the wrong word. I don't want to use that as a description. But I mean, in a way, for me, I'd be like, oh, I'm not at like a Motel 6 or whatever. Like I'm at something that is like, oh, I got fancy with myself. Like I paid for something. And I don't know. I'm actually like this will be the place that I look first whenever I go out there, I think. I should say it like that, because I don't have the type of money to stay on like Disney property, but if there was more than 2 of us, like I think that I would easily be like, yeah, let's just do it. Let's go in on this room, guys, if we're going for like whatever, D23, any of these places, whatever we might go for. When I go to my Star Wars, whatever, might be something to look at.
Celebration.
Yeah, it might be a cool thing to look at, so...
Tom,
did you guys have to pay for parking? Did you have parking on yours?
Yes, they did make us pay for parking here. It was $19. So,
okay. Is that included in that 203, or did you deduct that?
No, that was additional on there. So, thank you for reminding me on that. But we didn't have parking every night. We actually only had to have parking one day. Well, 2 nights. One night when we did have a car, and then an additional night when Morgan needed to park her car at our hotel. So sorry, that would skew the numbers that I gave then for our hotel, because that would have been an extra $40 in, because that was added to our final bill. So subtract $10. I guess our room was somewhere around like probably $190 a night, which is still
makes it better. Yeah.
Still a steal. If you didn't have parking, add parking in for a couple days, a little bit more money, but still good. And it won't beat Spring Hill, which every single day that we showed up with a car, they were like, it's fine, just park it. It's okay. Just ring the bell when you leave. Yeah. I think we ended up having a car there every single night, because we just kept renting random rental cars, because it was cheaper than lifting and Ubering around anywhere we were going. So they were so lax about it. Hyatt House, not as much. So, but overall, I think a great hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you try any of the food at the bar?
No. Did you?
No.
I had the spring rolls, and they were okay. They were just frozen spring rolls, but they were good, and it was happy hour, so they were what, $4 or $5 or something like that, really cheap. So it was good. Yeah.
Good to know that if it's cheap, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Bar food, that is.
It was bar food.
It's my life motto.
That is your life motto. So, and I think unless there's anything else anyone has to say, I think that's a good place to wrap this puppy up. Yeah? Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, Tom Rhino, thank you for joining in this conversation with me and staying with me at the Hyatt House. It was quite the romantic experience. It's one that I can't wait for, and I will do it again one day. I swear. Mm-hmm. When can we do this again?
When can we do this again? Oh,
hopefully
soon.
Soon. So that is going to do it for us this episode. Like I said, we won't be around with you next week, so we'll be back after Thanksgiving with another episode of the Disneyland edition of the Dis Unplugged. So we'll see you in just a little bit. But until then, remember, as Tom Bell always says, Disneyland is more magical when you're staying at the Hyatt House.